Now, I don't know about you, but I think video games are kind of cool. You got your shooty bang bang games up here, and then you got games where you're sucking up ghosts as a trim, slim Italian plumber, and then you got puzzle games that make you feel like you're going for like a wild trip up to Seattle where you think you're hopped up on LSD mixed with a nice big old glass of Coca-Cola Classic. These are the only three genres though, there's no more. Video games have always been a huge part of my life. I remember constantly getting home from school and immediately running down to the basement because that's where me and my brother kept the N64, and I might be down there for like 5 minutes before I'd hear something like, "Jacob, I said no video games before homework!" Now these are all home console games though. I'm here today to talk about the little guy, since no one else out there seems to want to talk about Bugs Bunny's Crazy Castles 1 through 3. I think what I've always loved so much about handheld games is that they just seem to respect my time a lot more. Now, yeah, I absolutely love console games. I mean, some of my best experiences of video games come from stuff like Ocarina of Time or Mario Kart Double Dash for the big purple cube. But with handheld games, I could take them wherever. I could play them on car rides, or I could play them under the covers at night, or I could play them during English time in 4th grade when Mrs. Tweedall would then yell at me for disrupting the class for showing them my high score of Galaga. Well, guess what, Mrs. Tweedall? I now make videos about games, and you know what I don't make videos about? Oh, adverbs. Now, sadly, I ended up selling off my Game Boy collection sometime in high school for whatever reason. Probably just wanted some money for some stupid teenager thing like condoms or Kool-Aid or something, I don't know. The point is, handheld games have just always been a massive part of my life. Like, I went on to get both the DS and the 3DS, but nothing ever really truly captured the magic of handheld gaming for me quite like the Game Boy did. There's just something about it, something about the simplicity of it, something about the way the games were designed to just be picked up and played, something about how my tiny little boy brain could actually stay focused on these games for long enough to beat them. So with all that being said, you know what I've always wanted? A modern Game Boy remake. I think I need to lay down. The Analogue Pocket is an upcoming handheld from the hardware company gods known as Analogue. It was announced like 2 years ago or something, and since then it's been plagued by chip shortages and shipping problems, and it keeps getting delayed. So that's fun for everyone, especially my wife, because I haven't shut the f up about this thing for the last 2 years, and I'm pretty sure she's ready for me to get already. Analogue has always been known to have the most premium, the most sexy, the most damn near perfect consoles out there. Pretty much every time that they've released a product, it's been met with like rave reviews talking about the build quality and how well it performs and how accurately the games play with zero lag at a crisp 1920 by 1080 pixels. Basically, they use this technology called like FPGA. I don't remember what the hell it stands for, but they basically re-engineered the original console's hardware to make the games display at a higher resolution, because it functions just like the original console. So anytime that you get slowdown in something like Stunt Race FX, you best be darn tootin', you're gonna get that same slowdown on the Super NT. Now, I still have my original Super Nintendo from back in like '94, even though it looks like someone all over it, and I do have the SNES Classic, so in my opinion, you know, pretty well covered when it comes to Super Nintendo games, which is kind of why I never picked up a Super NT. But the second they announced the Analogue Pocket, I have struggled to go a week without thinking about this thing. So as many of you out there have already guessed at this point, the Analogue Pocket is Analogue's version of a Game Boy, but I would be severely underselling it if I stopped there. This thing is capable of playing Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Sega Game Gear, Atari Lynx, TurboGrafx 16, and Geo Pocket Color games, which is just insane. I'm not sure why they didn't just call this the Analogue Jesus, because it seems pretty f***ing holy to me. The Analogue Pocket natively supports the entire Game Boy line right out of the box, but if you want to play the other handhelds, then you're going to have to buy these adapters, which I mean, it's kind of understandable because you probably don't really want your handheld to look like an outlet strip. Now, like I said earlier, the Pocket utilizes FPGA tech, and it upscales your games to display in 1440p on this pretty nice and like moderately sized 3.5 inch screen. I mean, you could like land a plane on this thing. I completely forgot just how small and puny the screen is on an original Game Boy or on an SP. This is gonna like breathe new life into some of these old games with how much bigger and brighter this screen is. Donkey Kong 94? Oh yeah. Kirby's Pinball Land? Well, that's gonna look nice. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone? Well, that's just gonna look bonkers on the Pocket, let me tell you, their partner. The Analogue Pocket also has some pretty other cool features too that I haven't talked about yet. Sleep and Wake is probably the one I'm the most excited for, because going back through and playing some of these older Game Boy titles over the last couple years has probably taken years off my life. It sucks not being able to save on some of these. I actually had to let Super Mario Land sit overnight because there was no way to save it natively, and I was so tired to finish the last couple of levels, so I ended up just popping it off the charger, closed the lid, and then I hope Daisy wouldn't run into the cord. So like you probably already guessed, Sleep and Wake lets you put the system to sleep and then pick it right back where you left off, just like a Switch, or pretty much any other portable device after the year 2005. Hey, Black Eyed Peas released My Humps that year. It's kind of crazy to think that there was a time where this wasn't a standard feature. Like, I kind of forgot about this time period in my life because I probably didn't really want to remember it. Probably because I was still thinking about my humps. But I remember being blown away whenever the DS came out and I could just close the lid. That was like some dark magic back then. The other big feature I'm pretty pumped about is the fact that we're going to be able to play Game Boy games on the TV and then pop it off like a Switch and take it on the go, because they got a dock.
Oh my god.
The only way at this point that you could actually do something like this is, at least for the Game Boy, was to use the Game Boy player for the GameCube, I think. I mean, the only other thing you could do is use the Super Game Boy for the Super Nintendo, but that only lets you play original Game Boy games. That's just not going to work for Jacob. And as far as I'm aware, this is going to be the first time that you're going to be able to legally play all of these other handheld games on the TV and then just yoink it out and take it on the go.
Hey, Daisy, calm down. I know it's exciting.
However, one feature that I feel like hasn't been talked about enough is its support for GB Studio. So GB Studio is basically this game creator that specializes specifically in creating Game Boy-like games. So the main goal behind this software is to let people who have pretty much little to no programming knowledge be able to create games that you can then share and play on any emulator or flash cart that you want. It's actually extremely simple looking too. Like I'm not trying to like, you know, minimize how easy it is or how hard it is to make something on this. I don't know. But from what I saw, they have these really cool drag and drop tools. So I think you can just supply the artwork that you want to use and then they kind of just handle the rest. I'm not a programmer though, so take everything I said there with like the pinchiest of pinches of salt that you've ever seen. Now, the Pocket actually has full support for GB Studio, and if I'm understanding this correctly, you can actually download ROM files directly in the proprietary Pocket format, put them on a micro SD card, and then shove it in the Pocket and play it on the go. I'm assuming this means that you can go online and download other people's creations, and if that's the case, oh my god, Mom, that's gonna be a big old spicy one. Basically having an unlimited supply of games is like gonna be amazing, right? I mean, am I the only one who thinks that? That's gonna be freaking cool. I hope this doesn't just mean that we can create our own games and play them, because I'll be honest with you, I kind of create all day at my design job. I don't really feel like coming home and being asked to make more things. But if a bunch of people out there want to make stuff and then let me download it and play it, yeah, I'd be fine with that. Where's your tip jar?
But in the grand scheme of things, I think the most important feature that the Pocket's going to have is the fact that it's going to be making huge strides when it comes to like game preservation.
Game preservation has been something that's been talked about a lot over the last few years in the gaming community. We're seeing digital storefronts closing, original hardware failing, or being hard to find, among other things. So one thing I was thinking about while making this video is just how cool it is that the Pocket's gonna be working with so many old systems like the Geo Pocket Color and the Game Gear. Heck, dude, I've never even seen an Atari Lynx in my life. Like at all, I've never even seen a picture. So it's cool that Analogue is like making the Pocket compatible with it.
Oh my god, that thing is ugly. Yeah, I know, Daisy. That thing is ugly, isn't it?
But Jacob, why don't you just get a modded Game Boy Advance with a backlit AGS 101 screen? I think the modding community is super cool, and I've definitely found my way onto some channels like the Retro Future. I mean, that dude makes some awesome stuff. Go check that out. But personally, if I'm going to shell out a bunch of money, I kind of want the thing that's going to display my games at 615 ppi while I'm on the toilet. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, the Pocket looks like an amazing piece of hardware. I'm extremely excited for this thing to come out. I think it's going to be amazing for the handheld community. I'm definitely reviewing it whenever I get it. I mean, it might be like 2038 before I get one, but I'm definitely doing it.
So, what's the point of making this video about 2 years after the Pocket was originally announced? Well, per usual, I'm a little late on things. I don't know, man. I'm so excited for this thing. I hope I didn't come across as like a commercial in this video, because I swear that was not the intent, but I'm so pumped for this thing to come out, and I feel like if I didn't talk about it, I'm gonna explode, or I'm gonna start ordering like cheap handhelds from China that have ROMs built into them, and I really don't feel like going to jail for playing a 400 kilobyte ROM file while I'm waiting at the dentist.